So they'll be calling you a radical. So I'm on day 33 of my rehab. I'm getting stronger, but the more I understand, the valve replacement's one thing, you know, the bone healing, 6 to 8 weeks, but it's that cabbage that tear that artery out of my leg that they ruined. It was perfect, you know. So that healing's a long healing, 8 to 12 weeks. Got to be careful with it. Get a little tired of sleeping on your back? Oh boy. So I talked to Dana. He still hasn't had the procedure. So he's still in the hospital, and you know, he's blocked off 3 arteries. You know, until they go in, you know, they're going to go in through his groin or his wrist, from what he says. But so I don't know. That's a long time to be laid up with a clogged artery. So anyway, so back to the first. Oh, I got to give my Super Bowl prediction. You know, Mr. Opeta, who I know well, but he's hurt, plays for the Eagles from here. But if I didn't think that the NFL had an agenda to make these games close via the flag, the PI is the best tool they've ever had for marketing and propaganda, I would say the Eagles would win this game 27-10. I think the Eagles will pound them, but being I know what I know, with the agenda to make these games close via the flag, I think they'll probably narrow it. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and I think it'll be 23-17 Eagles. So we all know what Andy Reid's record. He's from here. You know, the greatest coaching tree in football history. Alonzo Stagg, George Halas, you know, Lou Rockney. Oh no, it's LaVell Edwards. It's unarguable. It's LaVell Edwards. His tree, LaVell Edwards' tree at one time had 8 starting head coaches in there at the same time. So Andy Reid's out of that tree, but let's get real about Andy Reid. His kids, that's a tragedy, is what's happened to his 2 sons. Why he's in Philadelphia, the judge just wrote him the Right Act. So, it's really a tragedy. I'm not a fan of his. Surely not a fan of his wife. Surely not a fan of the way I think it's a tragedy. What that boy did to that little girl. Ooh, the other one's passed away, sadly. So, I'm not a fan of Andy Reid. Not even. So, when he was in Philadelphia, they made the NFC Championship how many years in a row? Was it 4 or was it 5? And he lost them all. That's why he got run out of town. They were that good every year. Well, the MO, the same thing in Kansas City? Yeah. Okay, if you think Andy Reid and the Chiefs the last several years, you think they've won 6 Super Bowls in the last 4 years. No, they haven't. They've won 1, and it was questionable. I think he loses again. You know, and so, is he Marv Levy? He wishes, you know, Elway come back and got his 2. But, so, back to the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate. So, I'm standing here right by an evangelical church. It's right here. That's where I'm going for my walk. But, so there's going to be an advertisement run today about Jesus. I think it's going to be pretty good. I don't know who's sponsoring it, but it's going right at the heart of what Kevin Blanch, and I'm the guy that termed this years ago, and you can look it up. Well, of course, you can't look it up. You used to Google these cliches and these one-liners and these words in my work. Kevin Blanch tide pools, you know, on Balco, American manufactured Jesus. I have hundreds. I'd pop up, but they've got me so filtered and kettled you can't even find me. Which, net neutrality. We're going to put it back, GG. Sure you are. Sure you are. Sliding with Biden. He's no different than Trump. Trump was no different than Obama Dumber. Obama Dumber was no different than the Bush. Filmed in Ogden, Utah. Bush dumb, Obama dumber, Trump dumbest. Sliding with status quo, senile Biden. I mean, it's pathetic. All the funds go to the military industrialized war machine, and then we have an entire agenda, the family addressed to American manufactured Jesus, which is all bullshit. Hate thy neighbor, covet thy neighbor's Walmart goods. AK-47 Jesus, F-35. NASCAR Jesus. Drone thy neighbor Jesus. I mean, it's pathetic. In the name of him? I don't think he was that way. You know, that radical. So, churchgoers, they've always bothered me. You know, I mean, I'm a pretty religious person. I'm pretty spiritual. And, you know, Jesus, as far as the activists, is one of my favorites. You know, get his whip and throw the money changers out of the temple. And now they think they're buy here payday Jesus. So, it's going to be interesting to see because everybody's looking up their foundation and their videos, and they're pretty damn good. They're really good, actually. But somebody's funding them. I don't know who. The advertiser in the Super Bowl. So it ties into the whole nuclear energy crime scene. They just make it up as you go to fit your mantra. How easy is it to make a quantum leap like that? So I'm a criminal. I do this, that, in the name of end. Blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus. I mean, and just... Jesus said. I mean, it's some bullshit. The same with the nuclear energy crime syndicate. Salt reactors, thorium reactors. And, you know, to the shooting down the balloons. Well, I was talking to a person today, and I'm like, well, you do know that China had a nuclear accident. Maybe that's what it's all about. Maybe it's about Fukushima, and they just look at you like their eyeballs are on the toilet. What are you talking about? Never saw that on the news. China had a fast breeder. They're going to put one on a month. Starting in 2010, they put one on. And how do we know it went into meltdown in 2019? Because international law, and you don't think I know, all roads lead to Vienna, the IAEA. International requires, when you have a nuclear disaster, it's called the downwinder letter. Imminent radiation fallout letter. By law, you have to send it out to all downwinder nations. You know, hello. Shooting down balloons from China. I thought the jet stream moved left to right. What's Fukushima? Breaking news, fish swim. So they sent the letter. Jennifer Graham Holm, Rick Perry's twin, the Department of Nuclearism, which is the Department of Energy, DOE, set on it. Didn't release it to the American public. Siding with Biden. Status quo. Somebody leaked it to CNN at 12:34 a.m. I wonder who that was. So we know that these so-called fast breeders don't work. You know, they were tried at Santa Susana in LA back in the day. Idaho National Lab, where Utah's paying for them now, and he's failed. Every time they've actually tested one, they don't work. They blow up. But we've got them in Utah, right? We've been funding them out of our electrical bill to the hundreds of thousands to NuScale from hell. You know, the head of the NRC approves it, who used to work at Idaho National Lab with Jose Reyes, CEO. I'm going to take the Easter Bunny public. I'm going to take a unicorn public. He took it public. They don't have a product. They don't have nothing. They have pork. You know, and so, nuclear pork. So, everybody's gung-ho on thorium reactors, salt reactors, this reactor, SMRs. Show me one. I'm a show me kind of guy. They can. Remember, Utah was going to have 24 by 2019. Now, what year is it? Do we? Do we? So I'm getting stronger. But, you know, the more I read, there's a couple good cardiologist vlogs. I can feel it. I mean, that cabbage. So, as you know, my heart was a beast. It's a birth defect I was born with. My dad nuked to death in the Nevada test site. I was born, you know, all fucked up, but had a severe heart murmur. A severe one. And so my uncle, well, a relative of mine who's a cardiologist over the years, kicked the can. So, as you know, I got cancer in 2011. Central line in my jugular, and I'm sure accelerated it. And I exhausted my safety net. I exhausted all my money. I had no insurance, so nobody would treat me. Right over here, Ogden Regional Medical Center. I'm just bleeding profusely out of my mouth and nose. I'm going to him. It's my heart. No, it's not. We ran the tests. So it's like deja vu all over again and again. Guy, go see your dentist. I collapsed in my yard on an Easter Sunday. I don't know how I didn't die. So they surgery didn't replace that valve. So 5.5 years ago. So in September of this year, I'm like, I can feel it. It's burning me right at the valve. It's shooting down my left arm. My hands are going in. I can feel I'm pinched off. I'm telling my cardiologist they scheduled me for, who's supposed to be maintaining this, Collado. And I'm telling all my doctors this on scheduled appointments. So fine, just go in. You know, they send me right up to his pin. Nope, that's not what it is, Kevin. It's not. What do you mean it's not my heart? Yes, it is. No, they blamed it on neuropathy. I had to fight. So, perceive I had a heart attack. You know, right above the valve, it ripped. I got it out and didn't go to the hospital. I didn't know for sure if it was a heart attack. I thought maybe. I'm not going to the emergency room on Christmas Eve. I mean, talk about Russian roulette. So I got through it for a week, and it happened again on New Year's Day. Gutted it out again. You know, not going. I want to go. So I got in to see my general practitioner, which I thought would be the 2nd, but that was a holiday. So got in on the 3rd. He's looking at the charts. He laid over the chart. He says, look at this. There's a different infraction here than there's ever been on the EKGs before. I'm like, whoa. He's still telling me, sure, it's neuropathy. I'm like, what about a stress test? And he says, yeah, let's schedule one. I says, it'll be extremely irresponsible not to. Yeah, just go do it in the next 3 weeks. I'm sure this is neuropathy. It's not your heart. Okay. So I went for my normal walk from the hospital to the university. I had to stop 5 times. So I called him. He called that in? Yeah. The stress test? Yeah. So, when can you get me in? I call him. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. So I go in, hook me up immediately. They're like, no, your fraction's gone. We're not doing, stress test on you. We're going to put a pacemaker in right now. Your complete electrical system's gone. That's that heart attack. They listen to me. So I'm down there waiting in the room for getting ready for surgery. And one of the, I call him the lead butcher, he's right there listening to me and my daughter talk. Whatever. And he says, you mean tell me you think he possibly, I says, yeah, I think I possibly had 2 heart attacks. And so he starts talking to the doctors. And they're like, and then they all get involved. And the argument's on. And finally they decided just a simple exploratory through my wrist. So they go in through my wrist and they can't find anything. So they're like, God, this heart's perfect. It's beautiful. Blah, 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 blah. They stayed with it. Went in through my groin. Stayed in there. They were in there a long time. We're awake. Friendship, slave, barking symphony. And so he found it. He said, oh, God, there it is. It's discoloration right at the top of the valve, just like Kevin Lynch said. So they ultrasound you down your throat, knock you out. And they're like, yeah. you're going to have open heart surgery. We got to get you stable. So the 10th, I had open heart surgery. Replaced the valve. And not only that, they had to go through my leg and pull an artery out and place my main artery, which they destroyed. My perfectly good heart. So they had to bypass it. My perfectly good heart, which I told them for months and months, right to their face, scheduled cardiologists. Maintain it. Hey, it's my, no. So then they had to go and put a pacemaker in. So I have to live with a pacemaker now the rest of my life. And my perfectly good artery gone. You know, and the doctor says, well, we got the bigger valve. What are you talking about, the bigger valve? No one said anything about a smaller valve last time. And he says, you were right. It was that valve. It was all gummed up. That's what did it. You were right the whole time. Try suing somebody in Utah. A corporation this big. Good luck to you. So but you know, I'm happy to be alive. And I feel like they did a good job. And so getting stronger each day, working at it. I can still feel it, you know, of course. You know, they say 6 to 8 weeks for the bone to heal. Sleeping on your back, you make a little mistake, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, but I've been through it before. But not this severe, but the cabbage, as they call it, that's a long healing process, 8 to 12 weeks. And so it's a miracle I'm alive. You know, it's an absolute, you know, the cancer in 2011, given 2 months to live, in the bone marrow transplant with ML de Novo. Too sick for a transplant, but what a decade, eh? And the Nuclear Energy Crime Center just goes on. You know, we shut down some weather balloons or something. Jet stream moves left to right, but we sure won't talk about Fukushima meltdowns and jet stream moving left to right because we have RadNet, right? Oh, they crashed RadNet. They took it down. The mighty Wasatch. So thank you everybody for supporting this historic work. As soon as I get better, I'll get back at it. Oh, and get back to doing my tide pool work. I've missed out on the beautiful low tides. I want to get some lower tides later this month. If I feel better, you know, we'll see. Maybe get down there and do some tide pool work. Just stand up high. I don't think I'll be able to skip across the moldy rocks like I did for years. God, what an honor to talk about. Oh, all that historic, hardcore work. So I'm feeling better slowly. Dana hasn't had his surgery yet. Interesting. But he's going on 2 weeks in the hospital. So I'll keep you posted. You know. So staying tuned. Eagles 23, Chiefs 17. Staying tuned.